Hello, hello. As you may have suspected or feared, I did return to this immediately after the other film because I did feel it deserved this last little bit. With all that we've done, I felt like it deserved this last little bit, which was just concerned with raising that ceiling to the 10-foot 1 1/8, to standard 10-foot ceiling, and what the effects, etc., of that would be. And this will not be a complicated, technical, long thing. It's just going to be a review of the outside and then the inside, and how the impacts, what that 10-foot, that extra 8 inches. Remember, we were at 9 foot 4 1/2 at DRM10B. At the end of that, we were at 9 foot 4 1/2, and I had wondered about various things about raising that, the extra 8 inches, because that's the next logical step to to 10 foot. So you can do with these what you will, but I could not resist. I felt it belonged with this, so I did that. And as I said, you can do with it what you will, but you can include it in your decision-making process. So this is about where we were at the end of 10B, at the end of the last film, and I felt like that window was just crowding too much there. So I raised that up, and I also got rid of the wider window here and went to all three the same size, 17 wide. And the next thing I did, I really felt like you were going to want that 6 foot. I almost felt like the 6 foot door belonged on the front door, so I pulled that out, the additional 8 inches or so required to accomplish that. I think that much almost has to happen with a structure of this size and scale. And I started messing around with where that beam goes into the wall, and just some different variations on this. And then in this move here, I got rid of that awkward piece up here where I said I didn't know what could be done about it, but this is what I decided to do about it, and I think that's definitely what should be done with that as well. However, it required this porch piece to project, 4 or 5, 6 inches, something like this. So I don't know whether that's just a cantilevered piece of concrete, and then this is camouflaged off with landscaping, etc., or whether that foundation is actually bumped out to 6 inches. But I did that to get that aligned. So even if we don't, and this was all after the inside of the ceiling has been raised, I only had to raise this roof. I raised the ceiling the 8 inches, but this roof only had to go up 4 inches to still give us a 12-inch heel height out here. And yeah, it's going to be more complicated to put the air handling equipment up here, but it looked to me like it could probably be done. They're just not going to like it, and the trusses could be made to suspend that up there. The extra 8 inches was not a deal killer if that thing's mounted horizontal. But coming forward, then there was the bringing that porch out and correcting the error here, and then and I'm not sure, you'll have to make your own judgment about this stuff that's happening back here, but I looked at a few different things with that, and you'll see walkthroughs as well to get a feel for what's happening there. But that's the last move on that side. Then on this side, this is with that 10-foot ceiling inside, and this door is kept at this where we have everything else at 6 foot 9 1/2 in this first look. And then I add transoms over that. Now that we have the high ceiling, we don't have to use the shorter door, so we keep an alignment across here with these doors, and now transoms are added up here. And I think I was just trying to get a better look at that with shadows, etc. On this next move, that's where that comes out to correct this and make this correct here. So we have to have that slab project beyond that. And a person could just put a happy little bush there. But I was looking at this brick here. This is all that happens here. Looked at a couple different things with that brick, and this was not going to happen. So I brought that brick back up, and then did some stuff up here. These are all at the same alignment here when I break this down like this and create this column and column look. And that brings it up to a different level. And also this window goes down. And this is still 53, so you might want to even shorten that up further. Actually, that's 59 shown there. It went down from 65 to 59, and the next step down is 53. And recall from the last film, going down to 59 put the sill at 22. So going down to the next step down, which would be 53, puts that sill around 28. I think that's it on this outside permutations, and I wasn't sure. I'm almost positive that I like a variation like this more than this, but it's your place. So, and I think, yeah, most of this only applies if we're going to raise that ceiling that extra 8 inches. One of the really nice things that happened with that was getting some more space between this roof plane, which can't go any lower, and this one in here. But the other thing, this whole, and you'll see that on, at least I have a rotation at the end of this, but it just, and I'll show you an elevation as well here in a minute, but it just makes this whole thing, it balances all this here, because that stuff that we had in the middle wasn't quite enough, and we didn't really have a choice except for all of this mass up here. So I really like that this is really balanced. I needless to say, I was glad I returned to it. But so now we look at the inside, and everything starts from 10 foot. I didn't show you the 9'4" anymore. This was all from 10 foot. Some various changes inside. This window started seeming really kind of narrow to me, so I went to that, but you can do what you want with that. I also wanted a little bit more margin with the cabinets. And I didn't do that, but I widened the cabinets out there at the range a little bit with this. Brought them up a little bit higher. I think that's better than this. This is all that. In what happened in here, should have said that, is when we raised that ceiling, we were able to get these into, all of these are shaped just like this, 6 inches wide or 6 1/8 inches wide. And now though they are 9 inches high, which is a lot more sensible and appropriate and authentic. So that extra 8 inches definitely gave us that ability. And from this side, these various things. And here is that planked ceiling. I was glad I had a chance to return to that, because I really start liking this one a lot. And I added an extra shelf in that blank area of wall over there. And here, for one thing, somewhere along the line, I pulled this end of this cabinet out to be more in alignment with this, and that was an extra 2 or 3 inches worth. But here, these are in alignment right now, and I made that door even smaller. It's still 38 inches at least, probably 39. And then from this end here, I modeled this fireplace just so that you could see this is probably a better solution for this low room, particularly if you end up with 10-foot ceilings in here. So, and I just used this approach. We looked at a couple of these in the last film, but I used this approach, and this is only recessed now like 2.5 inches instead of the 4, the chunky 4 of the last time. This hearth is still shown as almost 2 feet though from the face of that to the edge. So plenty of hearth space yet. And now I guess these will just be a series of walkthroughs, and a lot of them are just going to show that change at the front porch, I believe. So I would try to keep that as short as possible. First though, before the walkthroughs, because I said I would return to this briefly, this was before we raised the ceiling at all. And that was that. When we went to 9'4", and that goes up to the 10 foot. And then from this side, similarly, don't get me wrong, I liked some of these arrangements. You can see the roof just goes up to 4, even though the ceiling went up 8. And then these, that was the existing. And that's that, and then here are these walkthroughs, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you very much. And as I said, I apologize for the repetitive nature of this. Most of it is just showing changes at that entry, really, at the porch entry, although there's these windows changed to 2 here at one point as well. So that's all